The FBI is now releasing new details of Iran's effort to cause chaos in the 2024 election. The FBI saying Iran stole non-public material from the Trump campaign and sent it to people associated with the Biden-Harris campaign. Gillian Turner is live at the State Department with more on this developing story. Gillian.
Hi, Harris. Well, the Iranian regime, it turns out, is upping their attacks on the U.S. presidential election in a very big way. U.S. intelligence says, as you mentioned, that over the summer, Iran hacked into the Trump campaign, stole information from it, and then tried to share that information with what was then the Harris-Biden campaign. Take a listen. We're just getting comment now from the Harris-Walz campaign. They tell us, quote, "We're not aware of any material being sent directly to the campaign. A few individuals were targeted on their personal emails with what looked like a spam or phishing attempt." But former President Trump actually said this last night. Listen.
Them all of the materials because Biden is working with Iran, and Iran doesn't exactly like me because they were ready to make a deal. Iran hacked into my campaign. I don't know what the hell they found. I'd like to find out. Couldn't have been too exciting. But they gave it to the Biden campaign.
Well, the FBI now says that Iran is also desperately trying to leak stolen Trump documents to the American public through media outlets. Microsoft put it this way in a recent hearing on foreign election interference. Listen.
Every day we know that there is a presidential race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. But this has also become an election of Iran versus Trump and Russia versus Harris.
Well, the FBI says there is no evidence Harris staffers responded to any of the stolen emails that they received. The campaign says that's because they have a, quote, robust cybersecurity measure in place. The Secretary of State says this is all about something that's much bigger than even just one campaign. Listen.
When state or non-state actors spread disinformation, material deliberately meant to deceive or divide our public, they attack the very foundations of our free and open society.
Well, Harris, the Secretary is right in the sense that Iran has been at this for a long time now. As much as 10 years, they have been trying to penetrate U.S. presidential campaigns. This is the first time we're learning, at least publicly, that they have had some success with it.
Yeah, but the Secretary Blinken is wrong when he says that this would be any kind of disinformation. That's absolutely incorrect. They stole things that were non-public items that were factual, and that's why the former president wants to know, well, what did they take? So is he right? Is Trump right when he says that they don't know yet what was stolen? And why wouldn't they know if that's the case? Do you know?
We don't know. So the FBI is leading the investigation now, Harris. We don't know if the FBI knows precisely what was stolen or not. That's up to the Harris team to disclose to them. So we don't know yet, but as soon as we can get more information on that, I'll, of course, let you know.
Wait a minute. So Biden, I just want to make sure I've got the facts right, because they don't sound fair. So the Biden-Harris campaign can decide whether or not the FBI can see what was stolen, and the Biden-Harris campaign can then decide whether or not Donald Trump, a competitor in a presidential election, who the material was regarding and stolen from, can actually see what was taken.
Well, so in some instances, the FBI can just wholesale, demand that information be turned over and actually get it themselves. Other instances, they have to ask the owners of the information to provide it to them. We don't know exactly which
Can we
instance
ask on their
this
behalf?
We absolutely can.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
Yeah. Okay, Gillian, great reporting. Thanks for taking all my questions.
Thanks.
So, Sean, you were a congressman on the Hill, and there are a lot of things that are always happening. So I would imagine you've seen something like this at some point where something's been stolen. You see where I'm going with that, right? The candidate, this is a presidential election. He's got to know what Iran has. I think that's really important. And he also deserves to know what the Biden-Harris campaign has. So I don't understand. So the FBI has to demand it? Well, I think we can get it, too.
So that's the key point, right? So, of course, Donald Trump wants to know what information of mine do the Democrats have and how are they going to use it. You can prepare your defense if you know what offense they can use on the stolen material. But I think this is even bigger. Look at Iran. And again, of course they want Kamala Harris to win. It's Democrats, John Kerry, who did the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, allowing them to get closer to nuclear weapons. They gave them billions of dollars back Donald Trump put sanctions on their oil, which is their main revenue driver in the country, and they had no cash. The problem now is that there is sanctions, but Joe Biden hasn't enforced them. So if you look at the two parties, the two actors, the two candidates, of course they don't want Donald Trump. They would love Kamala Harris because Democrats have gone easy on Iran.
Emily.
Yes, there are three takeaways here. Number one, that there is a lackluster coverage of this. Think about the outrage and the horror when a very prominent ESPN reporter had pictures taken of her in her hotel room, her private photos taken. Think about the outrage and the horror when there are break-ins and people steal your proprietary information. And think about when things are stolen, everyone gets really upset. Why now, when a presidential candidate who was a former president, his things are stolen and that somehow it's just a lukewarm response? Number two takeaway, the Harris-Walz response should have been, we are cooperating fully with the FBI. We will absolutely give everything over. We wish our fellow candidate the best. And then the third takeaway is exactly that, which is that Iran wants Harris to win. Take that to bed and take that to the polls when you vote in November, because it speaks for itself.
Wow. Well, Putin endorsed her. So she's got part of that China, Iran, Russia, triangle, if you want to.
Yeah. You know, Harris, there was a joint statement that went out from the FBI to other federal government agencies. I could not believe what it said. It says, this malicious cyber activity is the latest example of Iran's multi-pronged approach to sow discord. Is Iran sowing discord or trying to make sure Trump doesn't win? The statement goes on. Russia, Iran, China are trying by some measure to exacerbate decisions in U.S. society. Are they exacerbating decisions or trying to ensure that Trump didn't win? What do these names have in common? That all got Secret Service protection because Iran was threatening them. John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, Mark Esper, Kenneth McKenzie, Brian Hook. They were all Trump administration officials. Iran is targeting Trump, former administration officials. And where's the intel community to call it out? You guys were happy to call Trump a Russian troll, crossfire hurricane. He's a Russian asset during 2016. Where are you now to call balls and strikes? Iran is trying to make sure Trump does not win.
Yes.
Cassie.
Yeah, all strong points around the couch. From a campaign perspective, when we were at the RNC, they would always say it's not a matter of if, but when. They're trying to penetrate, and someday something will get through. It is incumbent on us as communicators to be over the top transparent about what's happening, what we've done to correct it. And that's where the campaign really needs to step up right now. Otherwise, a lot more questions are going to be asked, and that's a big problem for everyone.
So just real quickly, I'm just getting it from what you're saying. That's where the campaign needs to step up. I'm saying the federal government does too.
Yeah.
Because she's part of both.
That's right.
Yes.
So, I mean, you can't apply the Hatch Act here. She's got to go do her job now. She's the president of the Senate as the vice president. Can't we, you know, they love to call hearings. They can't get one on this?
Yep.
The federal government's offended because they're the only ones who can influence American elections, whether it's the CIA, the FBI,
They're offended.
Department of Justice.
Bingo,
Not Iran,
Sean
just the
Duffy.
U.S.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.